I think I graduated from high school in 1942, and I had planned on going to Davenport to go to chiropractic school at Palmer. And in fact, I had written to them and pretty much was accepted. And Doc Dorman came up that while we were in the baseball season, and I assume he had heard about me from one of the doctors in town who used to do a lot of umpiring. Anyway, the Dr. Dentist, he came up personally and talked to me, and I thought, boy, here's the Dean of Iowa coaches coming to little town Dysart and wanting me to play ball for him, because he was a pretty well-respected man. So I talked to my dad. My dad was a very, very good ball player, major league quality in the old days. So he thought that was fine, and he offered me a full scholarship, Doc did, which of course wasn't very much at that time, but it was a lot more than we could probably afford at the time. But, so we said okay, signed agreement, and I think it was September 1942. Folks took me up on a Sunday, raining like crazy, little town of Fayette, nothing going on. So I stayed with Doc Deming, who was a math instructor at that time. He lived just south of the ball field. Those houses that are no longer there, just would be just east or west of the new gym, the Doc Dorman's, yeah. Anyway, so I walked downtown, very lonesome. Here the folks left, and who should I run into but Ted Johnson. Now, Ted Johnson was one of the 5 Johnson boys that lived across from the Ball Diamond, and so he kind of took me under his wing, and we had lunch, dinner, and so I got to know Ted pretty well. And about a week after I got there, my wife Kay's mother had a restaurant, and she hired college kids to help, So she had hired a kid named Bob Woods, and Bob, I got to know Bob, and Sunday after I got there, he said there's a gal down at the restaurant that you should meet. And so I said, okay. So Bob, I went down to the restaurant. Bob introduced me to Kay, and Bob was going with Francis Shera from West Union. And so the 4 of us then would, kind of walk around, and so I got to know Harry after the first week I was there. And about the second or third week, I had my dad's 35 Ford, and Kermit Glass, who was from Arlington, his dad was a veterinarian, and he had a pickup, all painted all silver with a big box on it with veterinary supplies. He wanted to take his girl to Owine to the dance, and he didn't want to do it in a pickup. So I said, okay, I'll use the pickup, and you can take the car. In those days, that's what you did. And so I had the pickup, and I was driving down Main Street in Fayette, and Kay was coming out of her mother's restaurant to go to Luther League, which is over on State Street or whatever it is. So I stopped and said, hey, I'll give you a ride. So she got in, and we went over, and Luther League was canceled for whatever reason. I can't recall that. So then there was just the 2 of us, and we just rode around all over and got pretty well acquainted. And from then on, we were a twosome. But that was kind of unusual that you would get all that done in the first week or 2 weeks of school. And that really helped me get acclimated to the little town of Fayette. Although I was from a little town, I knew everybody in that little town here. I knew no one in this town. But we got acquainted, and I joined the HUI fraternity, which is a local fraternity. And we had a nice time.